Hello everyone, happy Sunday, end of the weekend. I tried to film this video last week and it was 30 minutes long, so I'm gonna try and just shut up so it goes by faster. What I wanted to do this weekend is look at my stats on StoryGraph. So I will start the screen recording of my iPad so I can put it here. I hope you can see well. Oh my god. Okay, it has started. So I use 3 apps to track my reading, one of which is Goodreads, which I think is not the best app. I like the social aspect of it and the fact that all of my friends are on it, but I'm trying to switch to something else. I have had StoryGraph for a few years now, and I also downloaded Fable, which is more of like the social aspect. They also do like TV shows. It's updated a lot of time, but I think now they are using AI and I don't like it. So StoryGraph, as you can see here on the screen, is like a normal app. If you have Goodreads, you can put everything that you put on Goodreads on StoryGraph, so that's what I did. So it has like everything. So this is the page. You have to be read pile, recommendation, popular this week giveaways, you have current reads, and you can pause book. So as you can see, here are all the books that I started reading and paused at some point. And you have, I think this one is challenges, and you also have like giveaways. You have the community aspect as well, but I'm not gonna go on that because my friends are there. I don't want to show anything. And then on your profile, you have like what you are as a reader. So mainly read fiction books that are emotional, adventurous, and light-hearted. Typically choose medium-paced books that are under 300 pages long. You have my to be read pile, read recently, 5-star reads, own book, tags. I have a lot of those here, and challenges. You can also buddy read, which is so good. So you can start a book, and there's also like book clubs at the moment, I think. So yeah, they are updating the app all of the time, so it's such a good app. But yeah, it is really good. You can pay to have more access to other stuff. I haven't, but I would do that in like the future if I had enough money. But yes. And here is like the most important is reading stats. So you have reading stats, you have 2024 reading wrap up, you also have like monthly wrap up as well, which is so good. I haven't generated my March, so you have like the summary, and you also have what I love the most is calendar. So here you have my month with all of the stats, and then it's gonna generate a to see how much I read each day, because I update this on a daily basis. Honestly, oh my god, it's already 4 minutes. So yeah, here you can see like when I started book, when I ended books, how much I read. You can see on the weekend I don't read that much. I read other things that I cannot put on here, but yes. And you can see like the books that I paused and things like that, and you can download them. What we are going to look at, so you have the reading stats, and what we are going to do is all time. So we are going to view the stats for all of the books that I read of all time. So I started uploading on Goodreads, I think in 2017, so it's based on that. So apparently I have read 417 books, which is 128,919 pages. Crazy. And my average time to finish a book is 13 days, which seems like a lot. Not gonna lie, but it's less than a month, so it's good. In terms of mood, I mostly read emotional books, and I mean, if you can see like how many books per category I have read, and if you click on them you can also see all of the books and which category they are on. So I have mostly read emotional, adventurous, light-hearted and funny books. Dull books are starting to go more and more. Then we have reflective, mysterious, tense, and then the rest is like really small, hopeful, sad, inspiring, informative, challenging and relaxing. So yeah, I need emotions in my book, which makes sense, and adventurous, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Then we have the pace. So this, I think it is if you put yourself, like, what kind of pace the book is when you review. So I mostly read medium paced book, which I think is normal, well, logical. And then fast is still 42% and slow 8%. I want to see 31 books that are in the slow. I love because it's like mostly books from school. Okay, and webtoons. Okay. In terms of page number, as you could see on my profile, it says that I read mostly books that are under 300 pages. I think it's because of mangas and novellas, which makes sense. I do read a lot of like smaller books. I try to do like a mix of that each month. So yeah, it does make sense. I only read 9% with like books with more than 500 pages. 37 books, which are, I think it's like the translation, because most of it like the Twilight books I read in French. Wicca is the French version. Well, Heroes of Olympus makes sense. Yeah, this one is Cogito is also a French book. Yeah, so it does make sense. But yeah, I don't read that much big books. Oh my god, what did I see? I don't read that much like very big books. I want to read more because I enjoy them, but sometimes seeing the book is kind of scary. I want to read The Priory of the Orange Tree, I think is the name, by Shannon. Oh my god, I don't know her last name, I'm sorry. But it's like a 1,000 pages book, and it's so scary. And I know a lot of my friends have read them and absolutely love them and told me that it's like in different parts. I think I would love to read it on my iPad, because when you don't really see the pages, it's like less stressful, I feel like. And I don't know, I feel like I go by faster on my iPad, so yeah. Then we have fiction and non-fiction, and no surprise there, I read 95% of fiction. I want to read more non-fiction, especially essays and like books around feminism and racism and gay rights, things like that, because I think most of the book that I read in non-fiction are memoirs, because I absolutely love memoirs. I love reading about people's life. I know it's crazy, but I like the human experience. I think a lot of people think that memoirs are just people talking about themselves, but they also talk about their struggle with also the society as a whole. So I could read a book about LGBT rights, or I can read Elliot Page's memoir that centers around his experience with trans identity and also being a lesbian before he transitioned, especially at the time. So yeah, it's interesting to also have that aspect of like the human behind. So if we look, I have read 25 books. Oh my god, it's so, yeah, it's mostly memoirs, a little bit of poems. I also read, at some point I was reading a lot of self-help book. I mean, makes sense. But yeah, it's mostly that. Oh god. Okay, it makes sense. So yeah, mostly fiction is what I read, which makes sense. I think a lot of people criticize fiction, but you know, you still have struggles in that and humanity in that, so I prefer fiction. But yeah, I want to read more non-fiction. Then we're gonna go into genres. I'm just really thirsty, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. No surprise, there is young adult, which I think is not really a genre, because what do you mean young adult? I could be reading fantasy young adult, I could be reading romance young adult, I could be reading, I don't know, thriller young adult. So yeah, it's like a broader genre. But yes, I read mostly young adult. I read 176 books. So in those genres, you have like some that goes into both categories. So, you know, it's not just one book going into one category. The second one is romance, which is not surprising, but a little bit, because I don't think I read that much romance. I don't know. And it's the same like the third category is fantasy. I never realized that I read fantasy until like I see those kind of stats. Because what do you mean I read fantasy? Even though that was what I was reading mostly when I was younger. Especially dystopia. Do we have dystopia? Yes, dystopian is 18 book. I think I read more than that. I was obsessed with dystopian stories. I read Delirium. I read, of course, Divergent. I read I haven't read The Maze Runner, which was like very famous at the time. What other? Pretties also at the time. Oh my god, I was obsessed with those. So yeah, I read a lot of that. And fantasy, I think, is like also a broad genre, because you could have like completely imaginary word like Six of Crows and stuff, or you could have like magical places like the Mortal Instrument. So yeah, it's like broad. Then you have a genre that is not at all a genre, which is LGBTQA+, because again, what kind of genre is that? Oh, I'm not on the right one. And it's 99 books, which again is not surprising, because I read a lot of LGBTQAI+ books. I absolutely love those. So yeah, but I don't consider this a genre at all. Contemporary, again, not surprised at all. I absolutely love those books, and I think a lot of books that are like 5-star read for me are in this category. Classic is really surprising. 32 classics. What? Can I look? I don't know if you can hear the music, because my dad is making food and he loves to put like a lot of music. Yeah, what is funny is a lot of those, of course, are books that I read because of school, books that I read because I was doing the play, for the example this. How is The Pointless Book by Alfie Days a classic? And then some of those I read for my own enjoyment, which is quite surprising. But for example, the two first one, of course, Shakespeare and No Longer Human, I read from my own will. Then we have thrillers. I started recently getting into thrillers, and it's mostly young adult thrillers because I'm a baby. I don't like that kind of stuff. And then we're gonna have like the one where it's only one book is like Race, which again, how is that a genre? No idea. History, art, philosophy, things like that. Yes. But yeah, it's interesting. Then we have the tags, which I think are really good. So what I do is I tag my book depending on like categories. I have done that on StoryGraph for YouTube, so I know like what books in which category I want to read. But what I mostly do is put IRL TBR, the first one, and it's all the book that I have owned and that I need to read, like my physical TBR, just to see how much I read in a year. So for like, since I started, I've read 47 books on my TBR, which is a lot, but I feel like I'm just adding more. Then of course we have my favorite tag, like all of the books that I love. And then we have like the TBRs, 2024, 2021, the book club, Yelp, things like that. And then we have YouTube. It's just so that I can see like what books I read. Just think it's easier. Then we have the format, and I only started doing that 2 or 3 years ago, so I don't think it's like accurate. It's saying 70% is print. When I was younger, of course, I was just reading print, so it makes sense. Now recently I got more and more into audio, so it's starting to be bigger, so 10%. And digital, I really read a lot of things on digital. So when it says 20%, I'm like, ugh. Sometimes I will read the book on my iPad and then buy it. So yeah, I own them, but I have not read them physically. Most read author without any surprise is Alice Oseman with 26 books. So just so you know, Alice Oseman has only published 4 novels and I think 5 Heartstopper comic, but she has they have written a lot of like short stories. So yeah, Alice Oseman has a lot of like smaller stories that I have put, so yes. Then we have the author of what? Oh, Death Note. Oh, I did put every Death Note that I've read. Okay. Then we have Rick Riordan. Again, not really surprised because he wrote a lot of books and I was obsessed with Percy Jackson. Then we have Maggie Stiefvater, which is it's the author of The Raven Cycle. Lauren Oliver is the one who wrote Delirium. Jennifer Lindbarth is a new edition. Melissa de la Cruz is the Au Pair series. Ashley Poston, I'm trying to read more and more books by that author, so not surprising. Lee Bardugo, not surprising. And Becky Albertalli, again, not surprising because I want to read all of her books, so yes. Then we have language, and don't look at that because I like, okay, I read mostly in English, no surprise there. French, of course, because I read all of my books when I was younger in French, so it makes sense. But all of like Korean, Italian, Czech, Danish, Dutch, German, no, I have not read any books in that language because I don't speak the language and I don't read in those language. But I think it's because when you put from Goodreads to StoryGraph, then sometimes some of the books don't find each other and stuff, so yeah, I need to change the edition. Then we have a number of books and pages per year. As you can see, I started really putting things in 2017. You can see like when I started getting more and more. 2018 was when I started living in Birmingham, and 2019 was really when I started getting into reading again. As you can see, then it went up and then down. In 2022, like, I was really, it was a bad year apparently, and then it started going up again, and of course 2025 is like down, but because it's just the beginning of the year, so it makes sense. But still, I have read the same amount as 2022 in 3 months, so yeah. Then we have star ratings. It's mostly 4-5 stars, a little bit of 3 stars. I think average rating 3.85 is really good because I try to be I don't know, because reading is such a fun experience and I don't want to ruin it, but I try to be like meticulous, so I don't put too much. I try to be like a good judge. But yes, how many 10 books are 1 star? Like, that's crazy. What? I put Delirium, the third book, 1 star. Oh my god, I was raging. Wow, I was really rude. But again, makes sense. And then 5 stars. 85 books. Oh my god. But yes, this is the statistic. I hope you have learned about me, what I read, what I love. It's 23 minutes long, but I have to remove some of it. So honestly, it was supposed to be 30 minutes, so I did good. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you maybe next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye.